TGCRequiem here. We are playing Mardu Pyromancer. We're going to keep this hand. We're on the draw. Faithless Looting is pretty decent way to filter away these extra lands if we don't need them. Kind of assuming our opponent's on Grixis Shadow based on that opening play. We'll get to take a peek. It is Grixis Shadow. It actually is really good for us from a potential Blood Moon perspective. So I'm going to actually run out just a swamp here to set us up for that in case we do get there. Game. Definitely looks like we have a Grixis Shadow list. Gurmag Angler is really the most problematic creature. We do have a Dreadbore, but we also have Lightning Bolt, which can get Snapcaster Mage. Fatal Push really doesn't bother us much with our creature suite. Plays turn and passes. Pyromancer is great. We are going to wait, cast the Pyromancer. I don't even know if we really want to run out. We're just going to run out the Bloodstained Mire at the moment. Go get a red-white sword. Opponent definitely hasn't drawn a shadow. They're not aggressively shocking. Bit of a do-nothing hand. Alright, so they're just gonna Snapcaster Mage and do a Serum Visions here. Go bottom, top. So I know our opponent can just push our young Pyromancer, but I think for the moment, actually the token should be able to block the Snapcaster. So yeah, actually, why don't we go... I'm gonna go young Pyromancer, Faithless Looting here. We could have waited one more turn to Faithless Looting Lightning Bolt. Opponent would be able to cast a Gurmag Angler, but not also the Fatal Push, so I think we want to keep the Thoughtseize and probably pitch the Inquisition. I actually think we're going to pitch Blood Crypt. And if our opponent fatal pushes the Pyromancer, they attack into the elemental. Easy trade for us. With the swamp in hand, they should really consider fetching for basic swamp here. I mean, honestly, I don't know that we even really care to chump this right now. This may actually get them to the point where they can. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, they can cast Gurmag Angler whether we chump this or not. But I think we would like to save the elemental for a little bit later. Or they may have a Kolaghan's Command that they're looking to use to recycle the Snapcaster. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we just throw the lightning bolt at the Snapcaster, not our opponent, because we don't want our opponent to be able to land a shadow. We're going to have to pitch this Dreadbore when we cast the Bedlam Reveler. Although the Bedlam Reveler can block the Snapcaster. Again, the problem being that we have to pitch the Dreadbore. The opponent can get themselves down to 12. Bolt would put our opponent down to... we can't cast Bolt though and cast the Bedlam Reveler. I think we just attack then. We could Dreadbore Snapcaster Mage. But also Faithless Looting here. I mean, if we're going to end up having to pitch some of these cards anyway, not a half bad idea. Still hold up Bolt if we need to. But I'm going to go like double Stubborn Denial on this. I'm a-okay with that. Straight up negate. We're gonna bolt this again. We got to get at least 4 instants or sorceries in the graveyard to be able to cast our Bedlam Reveler. Don't want to put our opponent. That's a good draw. Good draw. Right, so opponent's tapped out. We're in a pretty good position if they land a creature. Obviously, they could rip our hand with a Thoughtseize or Inquisition. Opponent casts a Serum Visions and looks like they're gonna go top visions. Then they go top. Death Shadow. And a little bit of a waste. They should know we have a Dreadbore. Maybe they just know they have another creature. They got to burn through our removal one way or the other. So that's actually a mistake. I should hold on to that Marsh Flats in case I were to draw another Faithless Looting. So that is a mistake. I'll need to keep that in mind the next time. We didn't need the land. But we actually have any land we can even get with that Marsh Flats at this point. Just extra sloppy play just from not having played the deck a ton. And the only other fetch land or shock land that I think we have is the Blood Crypt, which we already passed or pitched or rather. Massacre. One's going to be able to start using Tassiger as well to draw extra cards. Kind of just run out of gas here, which is a little bizarre for this deck. We are just going to go after this Tassiger right now. Reduce the chances of the opponent having a stubborn enough. Have it though. A whole lot I could have done about that. Still going to be able to get a card back here. Probably give him just a Thoughtseize back at this point. Them lose some life. Maybe we'll get lucky and be able to burn them out. Blood Moon is unfortunately kind of like a turn too late here. There's a very narrow window here. And honestly, I don't even know that we should be casting it here because Lingering Souls. I'm kind of hoping to just draw a Terminate, whereas a Lingering Souls would have potentially got us back in this, but now that we've cast this Blood Moon, if they let it resolve, a Snapcaster, we're just done anyway. We can't give them the Spell Snare because we need to be able to terminate the Tassiger with our perfect draw. I think we just have to give them, I suppose we could give them a Fatal Push. Not doing a whole lot right now. Technically a Bedlam Reveler is 5 draw. Opponent is actually running Lightning Bolt, so they probably have one more in their deck, and a is also just game. So what we're looking for is Bedlam Reveler into I guess Bolt's not even. All right, well, good game. All right, so post board here. You know, Leyline can be pretty good. Fatal Push obviously hits a couple of the creatures. Good removal. We could be aggressive with Pithing Needles potentially. It's definitely a consideration. I wouldn't go. I do. Almost certainly cutting the Collective Brutalities. I don't think we really need the Dragon Claws. That's not really what I feel like this matchup's about. Tom Ball, however, could be pretty good. If we land one of those, that could be a problem for the opponent. And also, I think some number of ley lines. So, again, I'm not saying we're bringing all of this in. Blood Moon's definitely a big part of what we're trying to do against them. So, Tom Ball's kind of a non-bow with that. Ivy Needle kind of can be a non-bow with that. But we could lock them down in the early turns by aiming like Polluted Delta or Scalding Tarn. I think we do want Inquisitions and Thought Seizes. Don't need Forked Bolts or Burst Lightning. Or Collective Brutality. Those don't seem good. Olgon's Command seems okay, but not great. I don't know that we want 3 of them. Anything else here seems good. Or feasible. You know, Lightning Bolt itself isn't even all that great. Like, I think Pithing Needle is high enough upside. Don't Leyline's good against the deck, but it's not so good that you're gonna mulligan for him. 3 is probably plenty. And likewise, I think we're good with 1 combo. Maybe cut an Inquisition. Good. Maybe we can get ourselves into a situation where a single Lightning Bolt or Olgon's Command can get us to lethal. But again, we're not a burn deck, so maybe the Lightning Bolts are worse and we just want the bigger card like Pithing Needle. So I like this. This Inquisition gives us a chance to potentially go at the opponent with their whatever they might have to lock us off of Blood Moon. I think we lead with Blood Crypt over Marsh Flats. That way it's less clear that we might be making a Blood Moon play. Also, you know, by not cracking the fetch, we're increasing the odds slightly of drawing a land. So I will just take the negate. Their hand really doesn't do anything right now. They're basically gonna Serum Visions, and that's about it. Opponent's gonna go bottom and top, so hopefully hit. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully. Either what they drew or what they're going to draw is likely their fetch, or their next land rather. So the hope here is if we go Young Pyromancer right off the bat and they kill it, that's going to slow them down. Again, ideally give us time to land our Blood Moon. Opponent has to fatal push this here, even if they're stuck on a land. Oh, they kept something on top without having a land. Really? Interesting. And the third land right there would have been fantastic. Probably a pseudo lock. The opponent is at least representing stubborn denial, acting like they're not sure if they want to cast anything. Lucky for them, we can't cast anything. Alright, so they hold up the Thought Scour, throw a couple lands in the graveyard that they probably needed. Visions. Again, they're getting a random draw here. Believe in the heart of the cards. They put a card on the bottom and a card on the top. Swamp though, so that, while that is good for them, that does not allow them to hold up counter magic. They're going to Thought Seize us or Inquisition us, however. Oh no, they're going to Gurmag Angler. Kind of deal with that. Tassiger probably. We know about the Tassiger. Blackcleave Cliffs a turn slow. And this does lock them off of all their blue spells. We are now in position where we can potentially cast a Bedlam Reveler in a couple turns. We may throw the Fatal Push and the Lightning Bolt just to drive up our number of spells. And the point being that we need to get our Bedlam Reveler out there. So we actually can kill the Tassiger here with Lightning Bolt and Kolaghan's Command. So we will have our opponent discard a card. We should probably even return Young Pyromancer to our hand. That might be better. Except we need to get cards out of our hand anyway to cast the Bedlam Reveler, so I don't know if there's a ton of value. We're going to get 1, 2, 3... Yeah, and we don't want to help them speed up their next Delve creature, so... A little bit of lag, unfortunately, here. So we could cast the Reveler right now. If we cast the Reveler, we pitch the Pyromancer, but I think that's fine. None of our cards in hand are really doing a whole lot for us at the moment anyway. Excellent. So a second Bedlam Reveler, the Dreadbore in case the opponent puts a creature down. This is a good one. We have 4 in this tank, so looking good. The fact that we have Dreadbore and Terminate here makes me not want to play the Bedlam Reveler. If we can get our opponent down to a life total where they run out of Death Shadow, we can just kill it and then cast our Bedlam Reveler. I may go after the second Bedlam Reveler, but kind of clear that what we're looking at using to control the game is the spot removal. So in this case, however, I will run out the second Reveler, because then we can cast Lingering Souls, and the Lingering Souls should be enough to win us the game here. And then next turn we can look to Kolaghan's command, returning the Pyromancer, play the Pyromancer. Certainly there is a threat to our opponent potentially Temur Battle Raging us for the win, but they're not really in a good position to lose a lot of life. They almost have to take our damage to get to the point where they can do that anyway. Right now they're at a 4-4, they would only be swinging back for 8. I think we just attack with everything. They have to chump block. Otherwise, we've got lethal with the Kolaghan's command. We don't. Do we want to do 2 damage? We could also do 2 damage to the Shadow. That way, if they have a Street Wraith, they can't outgrow the damage that we're going to do to them. So I think that's what we're going to do. Turn target creature card from graveyard. In this case, maybe we just want to return the Bedlam Reveler. I'll do 2 damage to the Shadow. Oh, that's true. Really mean. Because the damage is all simultaneous, it grows the Shadow. Fight. So here's hoping they don't have a Temur Battle Rage. Yeah. There's very little outs without having a Temur Battle Rage specifically. Alright, so we get the win there. On the draw, the Pithing Needle seems even worse. I do kind of like the con balls paired with. I think on the draw, we're probably a little more likely to actually want the ley lines. Probably also more likely to want the Inquisition's draw. Probably less likely to want the lightning bolts. Bolt seems fine. I might be a little more aggressive at mulliganing to a ley line here. Hopefully we don't have to be aggressive at all. Hopefully it's in our opening 7. 40% chance of that. So. Red Source, Faithless Looting, backed up Faithless Looting. This is a very reasonable hand. Opponent's mulliganing will keep. Opponent keeps that. So again, this turns off their Snapcasters, it turns off their it turns off their delve creatures. And we do want black-red here. Start to try and disrupt their ability to sculpt a game plan. Delver of Secrets. We're going to take Snapcaster. I guess, we shouldn't necessarily take Snapcaster there. We do have the ability to bolt the Delver, so I wasn't so worried about that. But we actually... The Snapcaster doesn't really do anything here. The Spell Snare is probably the stronger card, actually. Or Serum Visions, considering they're on 1. Put a card on the bottom and on top. Hit a land. Run out their Delver. Muscle memory. You got to keep in mind the things that are happening on the battlefield in front of you. We're going to run with this Faithless Looting. Hopefully find another land, pitch this ley line, and maybe the Lingering Souls. Just both ley lines. It's an interesting build of Shadow Grixis. Here I think we actually just run out Lingering Souls. Max value. The card's very difficult for the opponent to deal with. We know exactly what's in their hand, right? Good chance we find out what's on top of their deck as well. And scatter. Counter target creature spell. Now, what is this? Is like budget Grixis Shadow. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just a very interesting setup. We just bolt this here. We're gonna play the Lingering Souls out. And we don't have a lot of 2 CMC spells. Of course, Young Pyromancer is a good one. They have that double protected right now. We're just going to hold on to the mountain, maybe make use of the Faithless Lootings. Swamp I like. Definitely don't want the ley line, and pitch the Faithless Looting gives us another filter. I mean, honestly, this opponent has like pretty much everything. Kind of crazy to think of it as a budget deck, considering they have all of the expensive cards in the deck. So I like the Thoughtseize here. I think we're going to pitch one of the Thoughtseizes. We just want to get the Essence Scatter out of there. That way we can land our Reveler the next turn. So the problem here, well, I guess they'd have to draw a black source anyway, so we just take the chance that they don't draw a black source in time to use the Thoughtseize. And the opponent just concedes there. So it's not responding for me. I mean, that's Grixis Shadow. I think I played it from the other side of the matchup quite a bit, and I do feel like it's a fairly close matchup where Mardu's maybe a little favored. But all said, it's a fairly close matchup. The problem with all the token generation is that you pretty much have to have a Timer Battle Rage on the other side, or a really fast disruptive start, and or like if the opponent has a Ley Line of the Void but they mulligan to try and get to one or something like that, that's going to be in the Grixis Shadow player's favor. Also, Izzet Staticaster is really good against the opponent, against the Mardu deck. So anywho, nice to finish this league out with a win with the deck. The deck in general is it's good. It's just not my style of deck, and so I actually probably won't play it anymore, at least anytime soon. But it's just it's a little too grindy, not like a lot of not enough powerful cards. That I like to play a lot of different stuff, different strategies, but I've never really been able to get behind like the token strategies. They're kind of too dirtily for me, and I do feel that this deck's fairly dirtily as well. Anywho, hopefully you enjoy. really hoping to watch more of this deck. Doesn't mean I won't ever play it, just probably not my favorite deck. Anyway, you have a good one. Thanks for watching.